Okay, we're going to step through how to do a carbon monoxide calibration for this machine. To go into it, you should be able to find in your manual the actual steps to go through it. There's an actual explanation of how to do it. You need two test gases. One is a zero gas, which is a true zero balance air gas that you get from a manufacturer. And the other one is the actual carbon monoxide gas. Now you can have it in 3 ppm, 5 ppm, or 20 ppm. And also you got to have a multimeter set for millivolts, because this is going to be a 40 to 200 millivolt test. So those are the things you need to have in order to go into the calibration. So to start off with, we always start with the zero gas. How you want to do it is make sure that the unit is powered up. It does not have to be running. There's a little black hose that goes underneath the CO monitor. It's got a little circlip on it. You can just pop it off. Just turn and twist it. Pull it out. Connect your zero gas. Flip it on, make sure it's tight. Engage your gas, whichever regulator that you have, and let it sit for a couple minutes. As it's sitting there purging the zero gas, inside the actual monitor, there is a couple brass paddles that you put your millivolt meter onto it, and that's where you're going to measure your millivolts. So at zero gas, you should have 40 millivolts. So you grab your meter, put it onto those two test pot leads, and see if you got 40 millivolts. There is a zero and a span pot in there, a potentiometer that you change. What you want to do is set the zero one, just take a small screwdriver, small blade screwdriver, move the zero until this guy reads 40 millivolts. Give it a couple minutes, let it stabilize, make sure everything is stable, and then you adjust your zero. So that should take only a couple minutes. Once you're done with the zero gas, it's pretty straightforward. You just got to take off your zero gas bottle, put on your span gas bottle, let the gas flow. So it depends on what gas you have. If you're looking at 3 ppm, your output should be 41.6 millivolts. If you have 5 ppm gas, it should be 42.7 millivolts. If you're at 20 ppm gas, reading should be 50.6 millivolts. I've just heard in the background the alarm went off. The alarm point is set to 3 ppm. So as it started to rise from zero all the way up, it went past 3 ppm and tripped the alarm. But just let the alarm go. Makes no difference at the moment. So right now we got 20 ppm. So we let it sit for a couple minutes. We grab our voltmeter on millivolts. So we should be reading 50.6 millivolts. So then you touch the zero or the span pot, and the span pot is one that gets you into the 50.6. So just let it sit for a couple minutes, make sure it stabilizes, normalizes. Then you adjust it to 50.6. So since span affects zero, we got to go back and do the zero again. So what should happen as we put the zero gas on, the alarm is still going, so we're above 3 ppm, so it's going to start to drop from 50.6 all the way down until we hit that magic 40 millivolts, which is our true zero. So I'm going to show you where to hook up your voltmeter. There's two little brass pots inside. It doesn't really matter what's positive or negative, it'll all give you a reading. So all you got to do is keep your voltmeter there, and you notice right above there, there's two little potentiometers. That's the one where you set, they're marked S and Z, so zero and span. And all you got to do is with a small screwdriver, just go back and forth, watch your ohm meter, and set it for the appropriate setting on your sheet. As you go back and forth, so you're going to start with zero, you're going to go to span, go back to zero, back to span, go back to zero. And in there you'll get a feel if the actual sensor is okay, because you'll notice that sometimes it'll take a long time to get to the top, sometimes it'll take a shorter time. So the longer it takes, the more the chemical reactions happening in the cell itself. So if you got a relatively slow rise, then your sensor could be close to being no good. If you cannot achieve, if you got to crank the zero and the span pot a whole bunch, then you know that your sensor is shot. You should not have to turn it very much to keep it in balance. So every time that you try this, you got to mentally remember how fast it actually goes up and how fast it goes down. because as it gets older, it's just going to get slower and slower and more harder to set. So once you've done your last 0, you're basically done. The 40 millivolts is transferred to another device inside that turns it into a digital contact to do your shutdown. In essence, it's as very simple as that. So you start with 0, span, back to 0, span, back to 0, and then you leave it at the 0 point. And technically, that is it. That's all you have to do.